Go ahead. And we are live. Yes. Welcome to our friends on Facebook as you join our metaphysical service on Zoom. I'm Renee Ranke, a minister with the Institute for Spiritual Development, and I'm so glad that you've joined us today. And you're joining just in time for this week's homily delivered by our beautiful pastor, Reverend Diana Friedell.
Thank you, Renee. Let me take a moment to find my notes here. So, resuming and all from the same computer. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My homily today is Finding Faith When the World is Falling. Let me make this big. Some days, I know I agree with everyone, it feels just as plain stupid to meditate to be a flower when the world seems to be falling down all around us. And you wonder if all this spiritual work is making any difference in the world. So many of us have been cultivating positive qualities in ourselves like kindness, unconditional love, and non-judgment. Suddenly, our world is shaken when one misguided soul with a gun blows a hole in everyone's faith in the goodness of humankind. Why do I do good work? Why am I generous, selfless, and kind if my behavior doesn't have the power to change humanity? Isn't God supposed to put a stop to all this nonsense already? Have my prayers done anything? God, are you listening? And I'm surprised to hear an immediate answer from God as I was having these thoughts. Yes, my child, I'm listening. Your civilization, you people are not puppets on a string, and I am not a puppet master pulling your strings. If that were true, you would never make a mistake. You on the earth plane have free will and can do whatever you would like. If wrong actions are chosen, consequences are experienced. You ideally learn from your mistakes and make adjustments in your behavior. It's up to humankind to provide the guidelines for young people on leading a good and positive life. And we've all heard the phrase, it takes a whole village to raise a child. And I answer, yes, but sometimes we have done everything right. Our child was brought up with a solid community of loving organizations with the right code of ethics and morals, and the child goes astray anyway. God answers. The child can go astray and miss the mark. Like in bowling, if the bowling ball is thrown incorrectly, it lands in the gutter where it won't hurt anyone. Putting guns into the hand of people who have gone astray allows them in the midst of their insanity to hurt others at a time when they should instead be put into a straitjacket. Freedom is earned. Privileges are earned. There should always be a gutter, a fail-safe, where the mistakes can gently land and not hurt anyone. When you put an AK-47 into the hands of a person who has gone astray, there is no longer any gutter. The misguided ones are suddenly allowed to make life or death decisions that our society only entrusts to our most highly trained and trusted doctors and our most powerful leaders. An 18-year-old mixed up kid does not get to make decisions about who lives or dies. It's as simple as that. That's the end of the conversation with God, and more musings. Why does this kind of thing still continue? Why doesn't it stop? We all want to know. Does anyone remember the great harmonic convergence of 1987? And Connie, our astrologist, wrote about that in the newsletter this week. if you saw her piece yet. And if you were following New Age teachings at the time, which I was not, humanity was given a choice to either improve our destructive ways and evolve into a kinder, more peaceful civilization with no more wars, or everything would come to a screeching halt and this experiment would end. Paul Selig, the popular current day channeler, tells a story that during the harmonic convergence in 1987, he went up onto his rooftop to try to see if this stuff is real. Can you give me some big, huge sign, something? I want to have some faith that this is real. And he had kind of a sudden download that he explains, a spiritual download, we like to call it, of energy shooting through him. And he was shown that the world was transitioning into that new age of peace and tranquility that we've all been wishing for. And there would be no more divisions between us. And the world would be as one, as John Lennon said in his song, Imagine. But it would be a long and a bumpy ride to get there. And he, like all of us, was impatient when he asked, well, how long is this going to take? And he was told 4 generations. 4 generations. And if you think about that, as I was going back in time, that was somewhere around 30 years since that time. And if the visionaries like Paul Selig and Sylvia Browne and others got it right, then we've got 2 more generations to go, which brings us to around 2050, which was the date that Sylvia Browne predicted. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait that long to experience living in peace here on earth, a heaven on earth. I'd like to press that fast forward button. And what can we do to facilitate a faster change in our world? After all, we feel like we've been doing it on a personal level, becoming more new agey, evolving into a kinder and more patient and loving people, looking for solutions to our disagreements rather than getting into the boxing ring. Not everyone, obviously. We've been taking mind-altering classes. You thought I was going to say drugs, didn't you? Yeah. And I put on my headphones and I meditate to be a flower. And what else do I have to do? Well, I know I'm simplifying the powerful work that we've all been doing just for the sake of sense of humor about it. Most of us at ISD and our listeners are already serving humanity in some really profound ways. Even our very small actions of service create a wave that affects all of humanity. We all have to ride the wave to be brought to a new shore. Now this is Paul Selig, who reminds us that this time that we're in is called a wave of change. And it's a required change. Humanity has chosen it. We all said yes to this. It's not being done to us because we really can't go on as we were. We all have to, he goes on and I quote, we all have to ride the wave to be brought to a new shore. We are being brought to someplace higher. And we can't pack up this is me, we can't pack up our fears and our gossip, our arrogance, and our wars and our false creations and bring them along with us to this higher plane of existence. So how can we help humanity get to that new shore, maybe a little faster? Paul Selig's work highlights 2 concepts that are still very hard for us to get. It's kind of day by day. And we need to be able to practice these before humanity gets to that new shore. And the first concept, as we all know, is to stop letting fear run every decision we make, because fear is a lower vibration. Fear begets more fear, right? How do we stop being so fearful? Well, one way is to meditate, as we just meditated with Renee, and she brought us to that place where we're connected, mind, body, and soul, to our true self. Our thinking is more clear. Paul's guides call this going to the upper room. And our true self already exists in that upper room. And from that higher level perception, we see our fearful situations in a new way, one in which we are the ones in charge of the course of our lives, and new solutions appear. And there's many, many teachers and many of us practitioners who know this and who work real hard to teach others to get to that place. So we are doing it. The concept number 2, this is a hard one because I still do it. Don't condemn the perpetrators. And why not? It makes me feel really good to point fingers at who did that, and people I don't like. And Paul Selig's guides remind us what you damn and who you damn damns you back. Who you put in darkness puts you in that darkness. The perpetrator, we have to remember, will face their own reckoning in their own time. We're not responsible for that. And Reverend Amanda recommended to us the other day on our SOS meeting that in her prayers to practice the affirmation, bless the victims, bless the witnesses, bless the perpetrators. And she shares that from Greg Braden, teachings of Greg Braden. Quick story about condemning the perpetrator. This is a science fiction book I read, and for the life of me, I can't find the name of it. But it's always, this scene has always stuck with me. In this ancient village, one of the young teenagers in town has been discovered to have been stealing for a long time from his neighbors. And the leaders called for a special meeting. The whole village gathered around the circle around this young man. And what do you think happened? You would think, oh, they're going to throw rocks at him, or they're going to banish him from the village, or no. They began to sing the song that was sung on the day he was born. You see, each new soul, as they come into this world, comes in with an individualized special song that the spiritual leaders of the community receive intuitively. I always like to think that that's the way our children come in. And the singing of the song reminded the boy of who he truly was and his sacred place in the community. At his birth, he had been infused with the love, the hopes, and dreams of his community. And he was reminded of his mission in this lifetime. He was blasted with love and light, not words of reprimand or punishment. The song brought a soul memory of who he truly was as a spirit being, and eventually he changed his ways. The third point or concept is one of my own, and it came to me, it's always been a life lesson of mine as we trying to find our voice in a responsible way, and it's in my son's song that we're going to listen to when we're done. Speak what you believe. When you find something that will help humankind, pass it on, share it. Speed up the process of awakening to who we are as spiritual being. Facebook, internet, cell phones, as much as we condemn them all, have been huge powers of communicating. And I refuse to let negative forces take that over. I'm going to bombard it with messages of love and healing. I don't want to be bullied there. Using all those channels for good. We know we can't force the whole world to change as quickly as we would like, but while we are waiting, we can be responsible for our own vibrations, what we're putting out there, knowing that our healing actions reverberate outward. And I'd like to share just a couple of sacred practices to get out of negativity when you're in that downward spiral and push that fast forward button to the new shores. And I have just 8 short points. There are a million of them, but some of these came out in our SOS meeting the other day. 1, get out in nature, get your hands into the earth. And I have a friend who's grieving over the loss of a child, and she states that the most powerful healing for her grief occurs when she is pulling weeds. Number 2, have a rescue playlist of joyous or peaceful music ready to go when you need it. Nowadays, it can be a playlist on YouTube. There's so many ways to do this easily. 3, start the day with an affirmation to cancel out the negative thoughts and program your day for success. And one that I've heard recently is just 4 words while you're laying there: kind, gentle, easy, good. Kind, gentle, easy, good. Setting the intention for the day. The 4th one, every time you hit a stoplight, take LSD. And what is LSD, everybody? Long, slow, deep. Very good. Yep, you got it. You remembered. Okay, someone had shared that with me, and boy, I'm not going to forget that one because it's LSD. Oh yeah. So hit a stoplight and take that long, slow, deep breath. Let go of the tension that you're holding on. Number 5, compliment 5 people, including yourself, each day. 6, add a random act of kindness daily. Number 7, end each day with gratitude for all that you've accomplished. We actually, when I'm doing well, I have a list. And so I ask my husband and ask myself, what were the best parts of today? Who are you most grateful for? And those questions, what am I most grateful for? It's a really good practice. And my friend Allie reminds us that we are each to be the boots on the ground right now to affect positive change in whatever direction our talents and passion takes us. The world is kind of calling us to action right now. And I'm going to end with a quote from Carolyn Meese in her TED Talk that's called Choices That Change Your Life. And I recommend that TED Talk highly. Some of the grief and injuries that have happened to people are so horrible, it's unbelievable. And the truth is that nothing can make that go away. Nothing can make that better. And the model of healing that we have to have is a model that says healing is not about ever forgetting those things, but this will never defeat me. It will never defeat me. I will not live in this. I have to somehow turn this into my source of wisdom, but I will not live in woe, W-O-E, woe or grief. I will not. And that becomes this choice. I have to choose day by day, wisdom or woe, but I can't make it go away. And if you can't make it go away, then there's the choice, wisdom or woe. And I'm going to stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And come see us at ISD Oneonta for more events. Everybody on Facebook, and we'll say goodbye for now. Everybody say goodbye to Facebook.
Bye. Bye. Bye.